You're listening to financialradio.co.uk. My name's Giles McMullen, chatting to Bill Rook from Redmayne Bentley. Morning, Bill.
Morning, Giles.
Let's start then with the first chart that I have up here that you sent over, which is POG, Peter Hambro Mining.
Well, Peter Hambro Mining is, well, now it's Petropavlovsk, because it has Peter Hambro on there. One of the ways that we've looked at this one, and we're actually buying it last week. We bought this one last week at 1087. It's now 1287, which is not bad, 20% up. Well,
I'd say 20% in a week's all right, Bill.
Well,
I'd take that.
Bad. It's not bad. But the chart here we're looking at here is a band filter using the acceleration bands, which I think is probably the most exciting additional instrument I've found to sort of finding out whether shares are actually moving up or not. These acceleration bands actually highlight the shares which are in the fast lane.
Right.
When the arrows at the top come up, it suggests the shares are outside the band, and that we're actually buying an overbought share. Now,
I see.
It works well here when you've got a perceived quality share, and it allows you to sort of, I suppose, amplify your holding, if you like, on these things, or if you feel risk averse on these things, you take a smaller holding. But I would think the idea here is that you go overbought, you buy overbought with a view that it's going to move up quite sharply, and you stay out of the bands if you're very aggressive, and you just hold on and top up as they break out each time.
Okay, but you're a buyer of POG at the moment, then, Peter Hambro Mining.
That's one policy. We discussed this last week. Do you buy in the breakouts? And we'll look at another share as, in a minute or so to show you that we don't necessarily have to do that. But this one works quite well on the breakouts, accelerating on the upside.
Okay, all right, Bill. Thank you very much for that. Let's move on to the next one, Hock, which is Hock's child, isn't it?
This is the one, Hock's child. Now, this one here also buying last week, where the buy arrow was.
Yep.
And that's about 270. It's now over 3 quid. That moved up to 3 quid, which is not a bad little turn. But again, on the arrows here, this is the alternative to buying the green arrows. Alternative to buying on the band if they're not breaking out. You buy on a perceptibly low day, and this system picks up the low points. So I mix and match these, really, depending on the client's temperament for breakouts and reversals. A lot of clients actually like the RSI system, and it seems to work very well. So actually, the market going up is not good for us, really. We want to be down. Funny enough, we want to be buying on down days, on the dips, looking to trade out on the up. So it's more of probably do more selling today than buying,
right?
Or, depending on the profit ratios.
Well, that's a good point, actually. It's better to be a seller on a buyer's day. Is that what you're saying?
Well, this is it. Depending on the stock, you see. But if you take Peter Hambro or Petropavlovsk, as it's called now, then that particular example suggests that you would buy on the breakouts. This particular example would be you buy on the dips. It works both ways, really. If you've got, depending on the underlying stock you've got, and the underlying thing they have in common here is the gold price going up. The gold price being so strong here, the underlying asset class, if you like, is so strong that you buy on a dip, assuming that the asset class is going to continue going up. Now, if it starts falling, gold starts falling tremendously, down to 1,000 or so. We'll look at gold chart in a minute. Then with this system wouldn't necessarily work unless it's accompanied by a strong underlying asset class.
Right.
So the underlying has to be strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Bill. Thank you very much for that. Let's move now. We've got, you mentioned it, here's the gold price. As we speak, gold's gone through 1,100 this morning.
Absolutely.
And
it's not overbought yet.
And so you're saying it's continuing its uptrend?
Yeah. I mean, as an alternative to price, we were saying a couple of shows like that gold is now outperforming against all currencies, and the Chinese have 2.25 trillion in reserves, and there's $1 trillion worth of dollars worth of gold around. Now, the Americans are the biggest gold holders in the world. There isn't much. There's a finite supply because it takes 7 to 10 years to get out of the ground. And if it catches on that all the Asian markets are going to be buying gold following India's footsteps, given the weakness of the dollar, and there's more money being pumped into the system to rescue the markets, and I think the markets, politically, I don't think any government wants to go down with this market. I don't think it wants the world market. And I think they're going to put as much money as it takes to keep it going, and that means inflating the whole environment. With the uncertainty around gold is absolutely no-brainer.
Yeah, because you can manipulate your currencies, but that'll just mean that the gold price will go up.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
absolutely up and up. So I think gold is a winner. It doesn't look overbought yet. We'll look at this on a regular basis, Charles, because when it gets above the 20% threshold, as it did in 2006 and 8, there were those hoops on the charts there.
Yeah.
We'll be concerned about coming out or taking profits or covering positions here by going short or selling. Gold isn't overbought yet. It's still going to go higher, in my views.
All right, Bill. Okay, thank you very much for that.
Yep.
The next one we're going to have a look at is Futura Medical.
Yeah, it's
Futura Medical.
Yeah, this is an odd one because it does actually supply contraceptives, and it has meant to have a wonder contraceptive coming through, and it's meant to be hitting the American market very shortly. This one is breaking to the bands, looking quite good on volume and breakout. Hasn't gone up today, but very, very interesting concept, this one, as to whether it's going to take off or not. But very, very worth researching, this one.
So, speculative buy.
A speculative buy, a smaller share, and it's breaking out the band. Use a stop of about 38. While it's outside the band, it's very, very exciting. Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Okay, marvellous. And finally, we're going to have a look at Alliance Pharma.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because it gives you a bit of history of actually how these bands working. Well, you can see it broke out of the band at 5p last time.
Yeah.
You might have been very aggressive and sold back in when it closes back in March at about 8p, and you stay out until now. Basically, the bands have consolidated and they've expanded, and the share price has moved to a new high with accompanying good news. So last time was up today, about 22 and a bit. This is an interesting one because the product has gone on board. It's brought up a few interesting products from other major farmers, and it could go, this one again. Consolidation ready to break out, breaking now. Very good with a stop of about 19 on this one.
Bill, interesting as always. Thank you very much, and we will chat again next week.
Yeah, look forward to that.
Have a good trading week, Bill.
Thanks, Charles.